What's up, guys? So I have been working on other things, but I was about to leave and I started messing around with the wing mounts for the Big Country Labs wing. So this is what we kind of want to mimic, these guys here, but they obviously don't work. You saw that in a previous video. I grabbed some cardboard, my trusty angle finder, some scissors, a marker, and I come over here to the car. So I got a little ahead. Sorry, I got really excited, and I kind of already mapped out the cardboard template, kind of, a little bit. This guy right here is basically what I did at first. Was, you can see it was like this, and I just basically laid this dude down on here, traced it, added my hole spots, and this used to be this long. And I took it over to the car and started trimming that contoured edge until I got that. Well, the reason I got an angle finder was because you can obviously see this thing can slide all over the place. So I got this surface flat like it's supposed to be. And I added these feet just with some tape. You can see it can still go side to side. So the next step is I need to tape up the trunk lid like crazy so that I can mark all over the trunk. Put the wing up there, mark where the wing's going to be so I can see my in and out placement. And then I will get this guy squared up and then make some little tabs that go inside here to hold the angle, just to give us a little something. But basically you can see this is the prototype. You can lay these guys flat so that you can trace it out on a piece of aluminum or steel or whatever you're going to use as your material. But like I said, first things first, let's tape up the trunk. Alright, we got the tape all laid out, extra big so that we can draw as far in and out as we want, mark any kind of corners or holes that are going to need to be done, and now it's time to put the wing up and mark it. Alright guys, I'm back working on the wing a little bit, or at least the wing mounts. I had Dad down here for a second, so I didn't film it, but we got the trunk marked up where the new mount pieces are going to be. That let us actually mark the angles, make a little triangle bit that fits in. So I'm going to show you that. Okay. You can see here we had basically bolted this piece to the wing and held the wing up. Dad marked all our holes and everything and where this needed to be. I used my trusty angle finder to figure out where this was straight up and down, and by doing that I was able to cut out these little triangles. So the next step was to figure out hole sizes, and this is now going to go to a friend of mine who does real CAD, not cardboard aided design like this. This is the best way to start, guys. So if you're needing to make some kind of something to work on wing mounts or intercoolers or any kind of bracketry, get you some of this like thick stock like cardboard that you can get, I don't know, any kind of store that sells art supplies will usually have this like thick stock. The great thing about this stuff is you can put it in a break or put it over a table or put it between a couple pieces of wood and fold it, and it will almost fold just like the material that you're going to be using will be. So it kind of stays put, and that works out really well for when you are trying to build something like a box of some sort, so you can at least kind of know how the material is going to act when you fold it. The next step was figuring out what size all these holes were. 6.5 millimeters for each of the smaller holes on the bottom, and then 8.5 for the holes that are going to actually bolt it to the trunk lid. Handy dandy digital caliper. You can see that works out really well. This is metric or standard. I know the guys at Big Country Labs really like to use metric hardware instead of standard hardware. So instead of trying to figure out, what the hole sizes were, we're just going to match these. One thing I did want to point out is you can kind of see where there are little slots cut here, and that might seem kind of odd. You see the slots. Basically what they were trying to do by doing that is make it to where these are on the same plane. The fold and so the bottom of the fold and this edge right here end up to where they bolt down, and it creates almost a seal between the trunk lid and this guy. Sometimes it's kind of nice to put you a little something underneath here. This is very similar how that is made, to where I just use tape to, instead of folding it over, because that would give you the material thickness gap. So I just used a piece of tape to kind of represent my bend, so that this is on the same plane as the bottom of this bracket. So that way, when you put it on here, it sits nice and flush. Hopefully this all works out the way that I want it to. This will probably be the end of this part of this project. We're going to bounce around a lot on my car just to try to save some time if possible. That piece there is going to go to my buddy who does the, CAD, computer aided drafting. He's going to draw that up in CAD, and then we're going to use a laser or a plasma table or something like that to cut it out, and then he can actually have it CNC bent to be the exact angle that I want it to be, and then he can, by having that and just in his software, mirror it to the other side, because they're obviously going to be two different parts, but I just prototyped the one side. That way he can just mirror the other one. I'll have two of these cut out. As long as they work out okay, after they're all done, I will get it bolted onto the car, make sure it looks right. And if that all looks good and sits the way that I want it to be, and Rory's all happy with the way that the wing looks, that means that portion is done. I can send him the CAD file that Mark's going to be drawing up, and I'll probably have a few more of these made and sent to Rory so that he can have them in hand, so that he has an SC as well, so he can test them on his car, make sure they fit the way that he would like to have them, while I can already have my wing mounted. Pretty cool. So that's going to be the end of this portion. Hopefully you guys like this little bit of nerdy tidbit. Sorry I missed a little bit of the filming. Yeah. Let's move on to something else. I'll see you guys soon.